I just hit the button.
Good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Good night. Welcome to the Off the Cuff podcast. I am Ashley DeWeese. That is my bearded beau. Never know whether he's going to be smiling, not smiling.
And boom goes the dynamite. I just like that saying.
Anyways, I feel like we've been up for 1,000 hours already.
Yes, yes. It's the blessing and the curse of being married to you, my love, because every minute feels like an eternity, which can be a good thing. It can also be a really bad thing. It's hard to say. It's really minute.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah. Well, I was just referring to the fact that we were up earlier today than we've been getting up. We talked in a previous episode how we were going to shift our wake up time and workout time with the kids being home for summer. And to be honest, I've kind of gotten in a groove with that for the most part.
And to be honest with y'all, and if you're longtime listeners to this podcast, you will have seen this coming, but we've already shifted off of the shift a little bit.
Oh, my word. First of all, when we started this, rewind. So the point the kids were out of school, we'd been getting up at 3:45 every single day, doing our thing, going to the gym from there.
Correct.
Then we talked about knowing that the kids were going to be home for the summer. We had a little bit more flexibility in our mornings. This guy over here wanted to see if getting some longer period of sleep in the morning would be helpful to his results, to how he felt throughout the day, all that jazz. So I was like, cool. So he had suggested we start waking up at 5 o'clock a.m. and then going to the gym. So we did that for like a week.
Yep, like a whole week.
We did that for like a week. And I was finding in that week, I was still kind of waking up closer to our initial wake up time, right? There's some adjustment. And so one, I felt like I was having a hard time most of those days getting back to sleep to wait for our other wake up time. So I felt like I was ultimately like wasting a bunch of time in the morning. And it wasn't working for me. I didn't like how it felt, wasn't
Right.
working for me. Plus, we were beginning to work the kids out, take them to the gym. So, our start time, it just wasn't working for me. So I suggested that if I were to wake up earlier, I would just go ahead and head to the gym, knock out some of my stuff because I usually take longer. I also have some more additional cardio than he does in my training plan. And I would just go start knocking that out, and then he could come when he got up at 5, and we would probably, more often than not, still be ending at the same time. So let's start there.
Those are all facts.
Okay, those are all facts. And he was like, no, we're not gonna go to the gym not together. And I'm not saying it like that because I do
You
appreciate.
said it like that though.
I'm not saying that in a way that I'm like mocking you. I'm just saying you were hard pressed. We're not going at separate times. And I was like, well, but we aren't really. I'm just going a little bit ahead of you. But he was like, no, we're a team. We go at the same time. So he was like, what if we do 4:30? And I was like, that's fine. And to me, it's been working pretty well.
Great. I don't know why you got like quasi defensive about this whole thing. I was just saying that like we shifted from the shift.
Because you like to press on that. We said a thing and then we make a tweak or a shift with me. Like
Nope.
that's like not okay.
Nope. I've never once said it's not okay. As a matter of fact, if we could review and rewind a little bit of our relationship, I think you'll see that I am the more adjustable, like,
Oh,
hey, let's
no, you absolutely are more
let's
willing.
change things up. And so all I was doing before you hijack this with your negativity.
Wow. Not negativity. I was just reviewing the
Yeah.
facts.
Anyway,
Oh
anyway,
my
stop, stop, stop,
word.
stop, 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 stop. Before you hijacked it, I was merely trying to say, hey, we tried something. It didn't work for us. We tried something different, which is kind of one of the underlying themes of this podcast.
That is true. And it also brings up another little nug that, we pull on our past experiences, past patterns, and can allow that to influence like what we think, what we say, how we handle ourselves. So this would be a prime example. Obviously, I'm trusting that that is absolutely the direction he was going. There would be no reason for him to say that and it not be the truth. So it's an example of where in previous experiences, like the name of this podcast, you have poked at me for never like wanting to sit too long with something. Like I changed this or I changed that. Therefore, when I brought that up, it's like you're already like,
I
anyways,
just I don't recall
anyways,
ever poking fun at you about things like that.
wow,
Uh,
well, let's rewind the
Agree to
tapes and
disagree.
the episodes. But anyways,
Agree to
I'm just
disagree.
trying to share a lesson
Right, me too.
to be aware that we can react in a moment
Hmm.
and behave in a movement and think in a moment based upon based upon things that have happened to us previously.
Right.
And it's possible that it is not the same situation going on. So I apologize that I preemptively reacted to what I thought you were getting at based upon previous experience when in fact that was not the case. Still,
And I
I
bless you with my forgiveness.
still I feel aside from that lesson there, um, it was relevant to bring up that we shifted and why we shifted. And now it seems to be working a lot better. I assume if it was not working okay for you, you would have shared. Because here's the thing, in marriage, in relationships, sometimes you got to compromise. Even with your own relationship with yourself, you got to make compromises. Because as we said before, it's not always about your flipping preferences. It's about what needs to be
And
done.
we don't live in a black and white world.
Correct.
So you can't black and white it.
You can't black and white
You
it,
got a
even
50 shades
though
of gray
you
it every once in a while.
even though you might try, even though you might try. So here we are.
Here we are,
But
9
this
hours into the
morning,
day already.
well, that was the point. This morning we actually so we did the week one at around 5 o'clock. Last week we did 4:30, right?
Yes.
And then this week we've been doing 4:30. But today
Mhm.
we had a call with another business mentor that is in the UK, across the pond, so they say. I don't know if they say it, but we say it. Anyways, so the call was being held at our time, 6 a.m. So that meant if we wanted to be on the call live, we had to get up earlier to go get our workout done, which is
If
what
we
we
want to
did.
get our workout done before the call,
Correct. Yes, because the
which we
workout would
did
have
and we
got
do.
done.
And so we did.
Right. But here we are. So and we've worked the kids out this morning and it just feels like we've been up a really long time because we kind of have.
Yeah, man.
So there we go. Hopefully, we didn't bore you with all of that, but it's just an example of us walking the walk that we talk on here, you know?
Right. We do more before 9 a.m. than most Marines do in a 24-hour period.
I don't know if that's true, but
Put that
we'll
in your
roll with
pipe and
that.
smoke it.
Oh, what else do you feel like talking about today?
Oh, I mean, is that a can of worms you really want to open up?
Uh, I mean, it's open, so
I had a fascinating conversation with Ayla last night.
yeah.
Well, let's
For those
just
of you that don't
say
know, Ayla is our 13, about to be 14-year-old daughter who is getting ready to step into high school this year. Bum, bum, bum.
long story short, she's a flat earther.
What does that mean?
She believes that the earth is flat. She doesn't believe that the earth is round.
Are you like, is this is the conversation?
Well, we
Wait,
had a conversation about,
she know. Okay, first of all, please just tell me that she knows it's proposed that the earth is round. Please.
oh no,
Because
no, listen.
guys,
Listen.
I'm reacting this way because this child, and she's not the only one. I love her to pieces. I love you, Ayla. I love you, Dak.
She can't hear you.
But like, what, 3 or 4 years ago? Was it like 3 or 4 years ago?
I have no idea what you're talking about. So sure. Yeah, three or four.
When we took Dax to the soccer camp and we brought Ayla along with us because we were going to be gone for several days, and
Yeah,
we
something like
dropped him
that.
off at camp, and then we would work in the hotel lobby, and she would obviously with us, and so she would read books, and we would take pauses and like chat and hang out with her, and but this was like she would have been like third grade, maybe second. I don't know. It doesn't
That
matter.
detail doesn't
She
matter.
should have known by the age that she was. Um, I was a former history teacher of high schoolers, and my child at that particular point in time, she could not identify that Kansas was a state. She did not know the Star Spangled Banner was the national anthem of the United States.
Man,
And
you're
there
just
was
flat throwing this
something
kid under the
else
bus.
regarding like country. I was like, I have failed as a parent. I have failed as a parent and a teacher for for that whatever the phrase is, for that matter.
Clearly not an English teacher.
I was just like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So this, wait, are you flipping kidding me? Are you telling me that she actually thinks that the world is flat? Like
No,
she
of
didn't.
course not.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, carry
I
on.
only
How
said
did
that
this even?
because she's right over there, and I really appreciated the incredibly audible when I said that. So she's enjoying life.
I thought you were gonna say something like earthing, like she believes in like going out and getting your feet on the grounding, not earthing. But it
Touch
was
grass, bro.
right. That's what I was thought
Yeah,
you were getting
no,
at.
nope,
Okay.
nope. No, we had, you know, if you have kids, you know how it is. They don't want to talk to you all day long. And then when
I'm
you go
gonna
to
do it
tuck
at
them into
night.
bed, hey, let me download some random crap to you, which is fascinating because Lord knows you never know what's going to come up. And so we got started on a couple of conspiracy theories.
I noticed that
And
you didn't come into the bedroom last night then and tell me all of this because you knew that it would keep you up because I would want to talk about it.
right, I'm
And
not
we were
stupid.
already tired.
Right. Um, but long story short, I don't remember how exactly it came up, but the idea that there are people that believe the earth is flat came up. She talked about a couple of her classmates who are no longer her classmates. They've switched schools or whatever. They were flat earthers. Which, I can neither prove nor disprove myself. My belief is we live on a giant ball, but
I mean, there's documentation of people who have come around the world. How else are you going to
well, sure,
get to where
if
they
you want to believe
got?
that documentation, all
Okay,
I'm saying is like a
carry
lot of
on.
things that requires a certain amount of belief and faith, right?
Yes, of course. Yes.
And so then we talked about how the moon landing was filmed in Burbank, California, that they never actually went to the moon. And it was an entertaining conversation. And, because I am dad and she is a teenage girl, I enjoy twisting the things around on her. So then
Right.
I would say, well, no, you're the one that said that the earth is flat. You're the one that said, no, I didn't say that. And it's just highly entertaining. But yeah, no, the earth is probably not flat. This is not
So
a science
wait,
podcast, so don't footnote this, but what?
so now I'm confused. Did you propose that the earth is flat? She didn't really?
I don't know. It just got brought up that there are people that think that. I
Yeah,
didn't
but you
propose.
started off this conversation leading you to believe that our daughter believes that the world is flat.
Right, because I wanted to get a reaction out of her, and I did. So, point me.
Okay.
All
Thanks for
I'm
getting me
saying
riled up for
is,
nothing.
right. Here's the problem. The scale is so large that our little brains can't comprehend it. Like we can't understand, like we can't wrap our brains around how big the earth is.
Right. So I mean, I suppose it's possible as I'm visualizing this in my mind. It absolutely is in the realm of possibility that our are it is also big, that maybe like the boats just kind of thought they were turning a corner
Right.
and
Yeah,
had
that's
gone
not where I was going with
around.
it, but
Okay,
okay,
I'm
so
just
you're a flat
saying.
earther like our daughter. Cool. What I was getting at is the scale of the earth is so big that you can't see the curve. So it's
Right.
easy to believe that it could be flat, right?
Um, in today's world, it's easy to believe that it would be flat. I think that's horse crap.
Why?
How would it be easy to believe that it's flat with all of the information that we've been given and shared?
Because again, okay,
I'm just arguing, we're just arguing a moot point. I'm just arguing the fact that it would be easy to believe. I don't think it would be easy. I think it's easy to believe that the earth is round in today's world. It is possible that someone's brain cannot conceptualize the fact that it actually is a circle, but I
right.
don't think it's easy to believe.
Here, why not? Here's all I'm saying. At a point in human history, there was documentation.
Right, that it was
And
flat.
just stop. Let me finish, please.
I'm
There
gonna
was
let you finish.
documentation and government authorities that said the earth is the center of the known universe.
Oh,
Beyond a
absolutely.
shadow of a doubt,
Remember,
this is a fact.
world history over here. It wasn't until, you had my
Oh,
man
here,
Copernicus coming
okay.
out in the 1500s. Scientific revolution.
My point being, you just can't point at the documentation and be like,
You
no, I mean
cannot. No,
this paper says so. And what so then if you go out in western Kansas and you're driving and you look and the whole dang thing is flat and there doesn't appear to be any sort of whatever, like I could see how people would believe that the moon landing was filmed in Burbank, California.
I mean that I can get behind.
Well, it's like I saw a thing.
The earth being round or not being round, I don't know how we could get behind that today. But okay.
I, I saw a comedian. And he said, he goes, if you don't believe in any conspiracy theories, like there's something wrong with you because you're basically then saying, oh, the government is always telling me the truth and they're batting a
Right.
thousand, right? And then he
Right.
went
I
on to
mean,
make the point of, I'm the government is in charge of all the people. I'm in charge of three people in this house, and I lie to two of them all the time. So you
right.
think the government's being honest? Like
Yeah, I mean,
that
I
math
think
ain't
that
mathing.
first and foremost, I would say that for me, I have to work to use Jesus as my guide on the daily, first as foremost,
Sure.
over any other source of information. Uh, and I'll come back to that. But, number two, as far as any other kind of information, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, choose to believe that most people on this planet, at least for now, are actual humans. And I mean, even that we don't know, right?
Could be a
There's
simulation.
just, it could be. And so I think as a self-aware person, you just have to make decisions about which things you're going to choose to
Right.
go with,
Right.
knowing that they're really you really can't say that there's absolute truth to everything that we are told and shared with, even if it is on the up and up, just because like the earth now known to be round, at one point, everybody did believe that it was flat because that's all the information that they had until they had
Right.
information that proved it to be not true, right? So everything that we're living right now today that we say we believe in, that this is the way we live, that it's the truth, it's the fact, it's science, it's whatever, like it's the same sort of thing. That is the truth until we have information that solidly proves otherwise. So we do have to just make a decision like, hey, I know that this might not be true at some point, but for now, this is the thing that I'm choosing to roll with. And that's the same thing that I kind of still use regarding like my faith in God, right? And there being a heaven that exists and believing that is the alternative is believing that not to be true. And in doing so, that would actually make my life worse Like my
Sure.
life would not be as fruitful and fulfilling and just all of the things that come with walking with Christ. I'm choosing to believe he did create us, he does exist. Uh, and that's what I'm choosing to guide my life because the alternative is not going to give me the kind of life experience that walking with Christ does. So that I think would go in my mind the same for a lot of these other things. You could know some of these things maybe are not true, but like at the same time, if you don't have the information to really like prove otherwise, then you got to go with it.
Right.
So,
I mean, that's, and that really encompasses like every aspect of your life, right? Because like I was reading a thing the other day, and this guy was basically saying like, well, you're some sort of, and he was like presenting someone else's side. He was actually whatever. He was saying people might say, well, you're some sort of uneducated rube if you have faith in a God that you can't see, right? And this guy made the point, and I thought it was like, wow, that like when you get in a car
right,
and go somewhere, you're having faith that the other people on the road know what they're doing, will be
right,
paying
that they will
attention,
abide by the
aren't going
social
to be
contract.
updating their Facebook profile
Right,
while they're driving. Yeah, abide by the social contract, right?
right,
Like that's faith. Like we
right.
don't think about that in that manner frequently, but like we have faith all the time.
All the time, all the time.
Like I have faith when I hit this light switch right here that the light's going to come on.
Right. You have faith that the food that you're consuming hasn't been poisoned by the pissed off employee that created it in the factory.
Or the grumpy wife. I'm just saying
Right. Like, no.
I'm not worried about that, but there might be people
Right,
that
right,
are.
right. There might be others. Not everyone is blessed as you.
No,
Uh,
true story.
no, every single day we are living our life based upon faith in a bazillion things.
And a bazillion unknown things, right?
Right.
Like I know that there's a wire that runs from this light switch to that light. I don't understand how it works. Like I don't have that level of electrical background. But again, I have faith that when I flip the switch, electricity is going to run up the wire because I assume it's little
Right.
men that are like shaped like sparks, and that's how they get
Right.
there.
Well, it's like flying on airplanes, right?
Right.
Oh, how could you? Okay, every time you get on an airplane, like you are choosing to believe, like you know that airplanes can fly from one place to another. You know that there are pilots that are capable of doing that. You know that there's all the technology that can navigate that ship to get to where it needs to go. But like every single time you get on an airplane, like you are choosing, consciously
Right.
choosing to have faith that you are going to get from point A to point B with no issues. And
And
you
if
have
you
and you have no way of knowing that that is
right.
100% going to be the outcome. You don't.
And depending on what level of granularity you want to get into, right? Like you got to have faith in the mechanics that service that airplane in between, the
Right.
pilot, air traffic control. You could
The
even
people who
back it all the
built
way
it.
up, right? Faith that the guy that made the one rivet that's holding that wing on didn't show up to work drunk that day and made that rivet the right
Right.
way so that it actually
Right.
holds the wing on. Like there's
Or
a
the guy that
whole
was
pile of
supposed to
faith.
put this wire back over here connected to that, like
Right.
actually did it and wasn't like, fuck you guys today and not doing it, like those guys.
Right. No, there's great big
Right. So
mountains
it's
of
not
faith.
it's not crazy. What people call crazy are things that the masses have chosen not to see as normal.
Right.
It's like health and wellness, right? Like how often have we heard over the years, still hear at times, how often do our clients hear that the way they're choosing to eat or the consistency with which they're choosing to train or the fact that they're choosing to go to social events and abstain from alcohol, how many times have you heard things like that's crazy or you think that or like it's only crazy to people who are choosing to follow the masses and or have never done it or experienced for themselves.
Right. Right. That is
I mean, that,
a pretty solid definition of crazy.
right. So it's okay to be crazy. And
Well,
I want to go back before I forget it. Like, I think we as people, definitely as women, I don't know from the men's angle, but we have the hardest time holding a belief. And then when there's evidence to show otherwise, giving ourselves permission to change our belief. Like we have the hardest time. Like, and and my point here is that if you went through life truly buying into the idea that I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my best today, and I'm going to do my best today based on what I currently believe to be true, based on the information that I have. And I will continue to do that until I know better, right? Like
right.
do your best until you know better. And then give yourself permission to do better. Like I'm just using it as an example of sometimes, and I think I've been this person in my life, you feel like you have to be loyal to that thing, that process, that belief that you held even if you start going like, oh wow, like maybe I'm wrong, or maybe this isn't the right direction, or maybe that's not what I think anymore. And so many people, they will keep themselves trapped in a belief pattern or a way of living pattern because they won't just give themselves permission that hey, it's flipping okay if you now have had a circumstance, some experience, or some additional information that is now leading you to change your belief. Like that doesn't mean anything about you. You believed what you did at the time with the information that you had, and now you have new information or experience, and it's okay to change
Right.
course.
I would say that that is a an issue for both men and women. I would argue that probably more so for women, just from the standpoint of you tend to tie more emotion to the
Sure.
things that you believe, where men tend to be a little more logical about it. But
I would,
I know just as many dudes that are like locked in on their whatever beliefs and will not move off of it for nothing. And, to your point, that can serve you. And obviously it does serve you, or you wouldn't be doing it. At the same time, it can hamper you, right? It's
right.
like we last time we went to Costco, we found this uh granola butter that tastes like cookie dough. It
It really
is
does. So good.
wonderful. Wonderful.
I'm about to be putting up a link to my little Amazon storefront, and I will make sure that that is in there so that you can access it because it is one of the most amazing things I've ever tasted.
So, like everything else, we offered our children a little nibble. Hey, come try this. And if you're parents, you understand this struggle because quite frequently you'll encourage your children to try something new. And their belief is that's going to taste like garbage and or kill me and or make me throw up.
So no, I don't even want to try it.
Right. And again, like,
Which to a certain extent, I'm glad they have that quality because I need them to be able to discern things that maybe sometimes they should not be so willing to just
right, because
try.
we don't need to figure out that the snozberries taste like snozberries.
Exactly. We
We
do
don't need
not.
that experience. At
No.
the same time, like I said, that belief that this new thing is not going to taste good, it's clearly serving them.
Mhm.
But I've tried to explain it to them. Like at one point, I couldn't get you to eat a slice of pizza for nothing, and now
Right.
look at you.
Right.
So you got to be open to trying new things, and I get it. It's difficult.
Well, it's okay. It's be open to trying new things or hearing new information, taking in different
Right.
perspectives. And that not only is it okay for you then to change your behaviors, change your thoughts and beliefs, but at the same time, it's also okay to try the new thing, take in the new information, and still land where you
Right.
were. right? And
Right.
and the thing with that is in that kind of scenario, it just gives you more conviction for your beliefs and your ways and whatever by being, I I have more respect for people who have strong stances on things in their life, who are also people who are open to learning and hearing other points of view. I have
Right.
more respect for those kinds of people than people who are just very convicted about the ways that they have, but are not open. Because the people who are so convicted, but are yet open to still taking in new experiences, new information, but land with where they were, I at least know, hey, they're so convicted even after trying this, experiencing this, having honest discussions and conversations at these other angles. Like, I have more respect for that person because at least they've entertained this new information and concept and they're still that convicted about what they believe or the way that they behave, as opposed to someone who's just like, no, I'm closing myself from even listening to that.
Right.
So either direction. It's okay to change. It's also okay to experience something and decide that that's not for me and this is.
Right. But you got to be open to the new experiences, new information, new yada yada to be able to be flexible.
Right. And to be honest with you, like like what's life like not living it that way, like being so closed off. Like life is short, but life is very long. And so it's to live a life where you just get to a point halfway through it that you just decide like this is what I believe, this is how I'm going to live and I'm not coming off of it at all. I don't know.
Right.
I
So
think that defeats the point.
as we wrap up this cornucopia of
Which
insanity,
and we didn't even talk about some of the things that we were going to talk about today. So
right. But
tune in
that's what
next week.
listen, that's what happens when you're like, what do you want to talk about, Justin? Well, here we go.
I mean, it's great. It's a good
Long
combo.
story short, believe the earth is round if you want to, but be open to it being flat.
I might judge you for it a little bit if it's flat, if you believe it.
Listen, there's people that are going to judge me for believing that it's round. So, like,
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, you're gonna be judged no matter what.
right,
There's a little additional nug for you. You are being judged every single day, period. Over and out. Like you're gonna be judged. So if you're gonna be judged anyway, you might as stay as true to your own
right,
heart and who you truly are as possible because you're going to be judged either direction. So you might as well be judged for the things that truly make you happy as a human and bring you the kind of life that you want.
right. That's
So,
all we're trying to do.
exactly.
Make you a better human, give you the kind of life you want.
Yeah, and give you a little, sarcasm and humor along
A
the way.
little entertainment.
All right, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week.